in the construction industry.
I'm talking about for housing.
And we have an aging population who is going to pay people pensions.
We have hundreds of thousands on the waiting list for social housing.
So let's build some social housing. It's all a distraction from inequality.
It's not a distraction.
In this video, you're gonna see Reform UK's Laila Cunningham absolutely dismantle the angry, shouty Green Party leader Zack Polanski. It is a total mask-off moment for the woke left. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the like and subscribe button, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Now let's watch this together, and then I'll share my thoughts at the end.
This is extreme, this is inhumane, and it is a government of cowards. Rather than take on the powerful, because the issue here is not immigration, it's inequality. They went for pensioners, they went for the disabled, and now they're going for people who are fleeing war and conflict. I am furious. So many people are furious because this is a totally unconscionable way to deal with things. And how dare the minister say we're an open, tolerant country? How dare she come tonight to Newsnight and talk about compassion at the same time they're talking about seizing people's assets? I am a child of Jewish ancestry. I am Jewish. We have seen this with Nazi Germany. We are seeing it in 2025. This government needs to hang their heads in shame.
OK, you're obviously disagreeing. What would you say to Zack Polanski?
Well, because you can't just have compassion for the illegal immigrants coming on boats and not compassion for the girls that are being sexually assaulted by them and the people that are killed on our streets. We do have men that come on boats and within 8 days sexually assault 14-year-old girls. I find it really galling that the Green Party are so focused on illegal migrants, but they don't have any compassion for our young girls and women who...
I'm not sure that's true.
Well, first of all, an asylum seeker who is coming over here cannot come over here illegally because we need safe and managed routes, and it's very clear across international law that anyone is able to find a safe sanctuary in a country. France is a safe country, but Britain is also a safe country. Germany takes twice as many asylum seekers as Britain. Secondly, sexual assault is a deeply awful and tragic thing that we need to prevent and stop. But there is absolutely no evidence that the people who are sexually assaulting people are people seeking asylum. And
I'm sorry, there is. There's convictions. There is convictions of people who came on boats. They have been convicted. Have you seen the case in Epping? Are you not watching the news? Of course there is evidence.
Well, this is the very definition of racism, is finding one case and saying, actually, this is the class of entire people across people seeking asylum. The people seeking asylum...
Let Laila Cunningham finish.
So we have a Borders Act, and it is actually illegal to come into our country without a passport, without documentation. So the way it happens, they come on a boat, and they are illegal migrants, and they land on our shores, and they say the word asylum. And they are granted all the rights of asylum seekers, yet they're coming from France, and the illegal entry offence is neutralised. We only prosecute 1% of illegal entry into this country. How can we be a democratic, sovereign country when we have decriminalised illegal entry into our country? I want to see some compassion, and some compassion for the girls that are being sexually assaulted, the man who was killed in Uxbridge. And I find it quite shocking that the minister you just had on, all she spoke about was the safety of the people coming on boats. It's obvious that the safety of women and girls in this country is not Labour's priority because she didn't mention it once. And that's what we're fighting for.
Sorry, just on that, Labour have a commitment to halve violence against women and girls, but within a decade, by the end of the decade. I think I'm right in saying. I want to ask you, Zack Polanski. The Home Secretary said illegal migration is making this country a more divided place. Is she right?
The Home Secretary is making this country a more divided place. She talks about the racial abuse she's experienced, and that's awful. But we know that every time the Labour government parrot reform and bring in these sorts of policies, we know that hate crime rises. We know there are lots of people in this country, people of colour, who are not migrants, who are already feeling marginalised, who are already feeling in some places where they don't belong. We're having this whole conversation driven by Tommy Robinson and the Millionaire Reform Party.
Don't speak for people.
That the Labour government...
Let him finish, and then I'll come back to you.
Okay.
That the Labour government are emboldening this kind of rhetoric from reform, because I don't know what Keir Starmer's plan is here. If people want Nigel Farage and reform, if they want the kind of racism that Tommy Robinson is pushing when we've got Labour ministers saying deport, 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 and Tommy Robinson is saying the Overton window is obliterated, they'll vote for reform. They've got that choice.
The plan, they would say, Nick...
Migrants aren't destroying this country. Bankers are bankrupting this country. Fossil fuel giants, armed trades companies, they're the ones that are destroying this country. And ultimately, if we want to stop the small boats, and I want to stop the small boats, no one wants people people risking their lives.
You treat them as asylum
absolutely do. That's
seekers.
an outrageous thing to
Why
say.
do you
They
want to
are
stop them
asylum
then?
seekers.
Why do you stop them? Why do you want to stop them?
Because
as
I
asylum
want people
seekers?
to be able to get
I thought we're an open and tolerant country.
safe
Why do
and
you want to
managed
stop
routes
them?
so they can apply for asylum. Because most asylum cases are seen to be legitimate, over 80% of cases.
And
I
that
want
is
them
a
to be able to
problem.
come here to a processing centre in a way that is dignified and treats people
Laila
with humanity rather than as numbers or pieces of crap, which is the way the Labour government are treating them.
Oh, well, I'll put that back to the Minister later. Laila Cunningham, would you expect Reform MPs to vote for these measures announced today by the Home Secretary?
No, I don't, because you asked a very relevant question, Victoria. You said, if people come here illegally, why should they be granted asylum? You're rewarding illegal entry. We're rewarding crime. Our position is that if you come here illegally, you have committed a crime and you will be detained and removed.
Right.
And that's what any country
So even
that
though
values sovereignty-
Nigel Farage posted on X today that the Home Secretary sounded like a reform supporter, you don't think the Reform MPs will vote
I think
for
it's in
these?
the right direction, but I think it's virtue signalling. For instance, the three countries that she's going to prevent visas if they don't accept returns, we've only had a handful of people arrive on illegal boats. Why is she not including Pakistan in that? I'd like to see returns agreement for the Pakistani rape gangs, but of course that's her political base. Would she dare disturb it? We have rapists walking the streets, convicted rapists, and we have a community that protected them, and Pakistan doesn't want to take them back. I'd like to see visa restrictions on that, but I'm not seeing that. In fact, I'm seeing that she's opening legal routes that will be community driven. Who will vet those communities? Who will prevent certain communities, certain religions from overtaking that community sponsorship and we getting a higher proportion of, let's say, the Pakistani community that protected the rape gangs? How do we know more are not going to come in?
Are you comfortable with taking personal assets off people who the government says have arrived here illegally?
Victoria, they're not coming with personal assets. And again, it's virtue signalling. They don't have enough personal assets to cover the huge tax bill that the taxpayer is paying to sustain them. I think in one press release, I said that they're going to confiscate their cars and their e-scooters. They're not arriving on boats in cars and e-scooters. They are still being... She does not also deal with the 100,000 that are here, over 100,000, that are being housed in hotels at the taxpayer's expense.
There probably is a point of agreement here, which is for taxpayers, the hotels are completely inappropriate, as are the barracks. Ultimately, these are huge lucrative contracts between government ministers and some of these companies, whereas actually we should be putting people into housing and treating people with dignity. Because actually,
housing that should go to British people.
If we allow people to work, we know that migration is of economic benefit. We prioritise British people. There's 150,000 vacancies in the National Health Service. We have vacancies in the construction industry.
I'm talking about for housing.
And we have an ageing population who is going to pay people pensions.
We have hundreds of thousands on the waiting list for social housing.
So let's build some social housing. It's all a distraction from inequality.
It's not a distraction.
It's all a distraction for reform and their billionaire mates who want to divide this country rather than allow people to treat each other with dignity.
Do pause, because
It is absolutely terrifying that people like Zack Polanski hold public office. Did you hear him? He said there is absolutely no evidence of asylum seekers committing crimes. He completely ignored the victims of grooming gangs and sexual assaults just to protect his ideological fantasy. This is the Green Party. They care more about moral posturing and calling you a Nazi for wanting secure borders than they do about the safety of British daughters or housing for British families. Laila Cunningham hit the nail on the head. You cannot have a sovereign country if you decriminalise illegal entry. It's that simple. But the elite, the Greens and Labour, they despise that simplicity because it threatens their power. They want you to believe that noticing the decline of our communities makes you the bad guy. Don't fall for it. I want to know what you think. Is the Green Party now a danger to national security with this level of delusion? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the like and subscribe button and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Thanks for watching.